Yo, yo, yo! We're back again. And this time, we want to wish you a happy new year, man. We've made it. There was times this year where we didn't think we'd get to 2021, but here we are. And to start off 2021, we've come up with a lovely 4-part series that we'll be talking about having a great outlook towards 2021, especially after the year we've had. So, we'll be looking at ways to make the most of your money this year. Business ideas, progressing. Also, a juicy one, how to find love in 2021. If you didn't find it in 2020, and if you found love in 2020, well, props to you, man, because boy, it was a hard year. If you could find love in that year, man, you could find love in any year. And also, we'll be looking at some of the events coming up in 2021 that we're really excited about. But first, I think it's best that we have a bit of a reflection on the last year that's passed. And man, this has been one of those years for the ages. In fact, I think it'll go down in modern history as probably one of the weirdest years of all time. So, let's get into it. Boom.
Boom.
Boom. How you doing, bro?
Hello.
How you doing, bro? New year? New you?
Happy New Year. Yes. New year. Who this? It's all good, man. I think it's been strange. Well, it's strange trying to record this because it's not quite New Year, but it is New Year. So I'm anticipating
A good year.
You can't. Oh, right. Is that what you're trying to do? You're trying to fool people? God damn. Yeah, so 2020 has been a crazy roller coaster ride for the world. And all I can say is onwards and upwards. The only way is up, hopefully, from here. So I think everyone will be in the same boat. Let's just kind of talk about it. Let's talk about it.
For sure, man, for sure. And I think in reflection, if we're looking back at 2020, it is really difficult to look at 2020 without addressing the elephant in the room, which is COVID-19. 19. That one.
Oh, good. Yeah, that one. Yeah, good Spanish, bro.
Bad man Spanish. You know me. Professional.
I wouldn't say that, but yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, dude, do you remember where you were in January? In January, like, there was these rumors about this COVID stuff in China, and everyone was like, "Oh, who cares? That's
I don't think it was even labeled COVID until February. I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's right. Like January is still like nascent, as you like. It's just this thing in the air.
Yeah.
No one knew. Actually, it was December as well, 2019, and then Jan. It all seemed a bit like it was going to be a small thing, maybe even a SARS. Stay in Asia, like if it's happening in Asia, not over here. But then Feb came and shit got real,
bro. In February, do you remember that Cardi B song? Coronavirus, shit is real, shit is getting real. Anyway, I was posting that on my Instagram because I thought it was bants. And then 2 weeks later, lockdown, boom. And it was like, oh, it is real. It's actually real.
So real.
It's actually real, and that was the first time I remember the very day of lockdown, right? So, for about 2 weeks prior to lockdown, there was rumors and, things were kind of slowly winding down, right? And I was picking up somebody from, I think it was the Mayfair Hotel. I was picking up someone from the Mayfair Hotel, and it was staff. It turned out to be staff. And, this lady's got a whole box. So I'm thinking, shit, man, she's been fired or something, whatever's happening, it don't look good, right? So she gets in the car. I say, hi, how are you? How's everything going? She said, it's great. but there's just been an announcement 10 minutes ago, and the hotel's closed, and all of our staff are getting sent home. And I was like, oh, sugar, it is done. It's over.
No.
The apocalypse is coming. And I was like, wow. And you know what? Maybe about 2 days later, I was driving past Down Park Lane. I took it upon myself to go on Oxford Street. And Oxford Street is arguably the busiest road in the UK.
In the world.
Shops everywhere, people from all around the world on Oxford Street doing shops. The whole world. Well, yeah, you could argue it's one of the busiest streets in the world, but definitely in the UK. And there was nobody there. There were no buses. There were no cars. There were no people. It was like the zombie apocalypse. It was like the beginning.
Crazy.
It was mad. How was it for you when the news broke that?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. So I moved to Dubai and for a little project, and that was in February. I think it was like February the 20th or something like that. And so I was in Dubai when all this was happening, and shit just got real very quickly. I think week one it was fine, everything's normal. Some of my friends came out. We for a stag do, and it was all good. And then week after, I think schools were closing down, and I think some malls were closing down or something like that. And week three, it's just like everything was just done. Everything was done. That you I had to stay in a hotel room, order food from Uber Eats, and wear masks everywhere. And it was just mad. It was just mad. And in Dubai, it was just strange at that point because no flights were coming home, so I couldn't even get back. And what else? There were these. There's just so much draconian rules. Basically, you had to get a permit to step out, to do a bit of exercise. It was crazy. It was crazy. So yeah, it's been a crazy one. But that's not to say that all of this experience is going to be over. Sorry to say, but I think it's going to continue. And the thing is, it's taken so many lives, like 1.7. I think it's 1.7 million. Like it's been attributed to COVID.
Yeah.
Now, how it's attributed, how these numbers are counted, I don't know, but it's a big number. And I would just say that this is not exactly about us per se, but just about the impacts of the world and what's happened. So it's my condolences to all those that have lost people because of this. And even still, it's like I can only imagine like the people that had, their parents or friends or family that were in hospital at that time when it was like really peak, and they couldn't even go to see them. That's just crazy. Do you know what I mean? So this year has been a kind of strange one for everyone. But I think COVID has brought like many bad things. Homeschooling, like mums have gone crazy.
And dads as well. Some dads are homeschooled, by the way.
Mums and dads, both parents are getting it. But I just remember like I think there's like an Israeli lady who like had a big rant on in a car, or she recorded a video, and she's just like, I don't even know what these kids are learning. Well, like they're learning like trigonometry or something like that, and you expect me to like try and teach them this stuff. Like, what are you doing? And yeah, so it's just been a struggle for parents. It's been a struggle for elderly people who can't see the family. It's been a struggle for those who wanted to, who own businesses.
Yeah.
And shit has stopped.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that.
Mad. And to
shut down.
And to think, like a ton of these businesses haven't done anything wrong. They've been towing the line. Some of them have been keeping really good financials. And, the government said, okay, all right, guys, turn it off. and
That's it.
and that has been it on their businesses, and actually it's exposed some businesses that were probably, in survival mode anyway, you know. But yeah, definitely, man. I like to echo your sentiment in the sense that, it's been a tough year for many individuals and groups. Um, yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah, but and it's been a strange one. All the masks came out, sports stopped, um, you know, toilet paper sold out, which
Record
was a
number.
crazy sort of. I think that's happened. Apparently, I read up that that's happened before. I think it's like in the 1970s or 1980s. Maybe it's just in America, but toilet paper. There's a toilet paper rush.
Can I just say something? Can I just say something there? Like, why did people think that having these copious amounts of toilet paper was ever gonna like do anything? Like
I don't understand.
COVID does not cause diarrhea, and even if it did, I mean, just go in the shower, bro. Baby wipes. The way that
I want to know where all these toilet rolls. I bet you got some families out there that have still got it stacked in a garage.
Yeah.
Just hoarding.
Yeah. Those kind of like end of I can't remember what they call them, like end of earthers, or like basically people that are prepared for the end of days. Just hoarding stuff, like canned goods, 200,000, well, not 200,000, 200 baked bean cans, just in case it all goes wrong. And, they're probably sitting on, 1,000 toilet rolls for God knows why. If shit is really bad in the streets, shit is really bad in the streets, what the hell you do with toilet paper?
And baked beans.
I mean, baked beans, you can eat them, but toilet paper, anyway, bro. Yeah, sorry. I just had to say something about the toilet paper. I mean,
no. Well, I mean, I think it goes to show like the kind of herd mentality that was happening. Do you know what I mean? Like all the videos that are going around, people going crazy, like fighting in the supermarkets.
Yeah.
For the last pack of toilet roll or other goods. It was mad. Women, like there was like grown people, women and men.
Yeah. No, mainly women. Just say it. It was the truth.
I wanted to be inclusive because
I see no videos of guys fighting over toilet paper, bro. I've not seen not one.
I got to. Oh no.
Yeah.
I'll put it up.
Yeah, but look,
I think. Go on.
I mean, I was gonna switch it up a bit, because you mentioned how sports kind of came to a halt, and for many people, sports is like an outlet. You go to work, and then you look after the kids, and you get to watch football on Sundays with the guys, or you name your sport, cricket, whatever it is, and that all just turned off. It all just was like, the season, the 2019 to 2020 football season didn't even end. It just cut off midway, which is wild. That's never happened.
Never happened.
But one of the sports that did continue throughout the whole COVID was UFC. And man, I think Dana White, who's the president of the UFC, he really, 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 really went out on a limb to kind of keep his events going. I think part of it was because he had this huge contract with ESPN to deliver a certain amount of events per year. But even with that, like I think he really went out on a limb, and the UFC has just gained a ton of followers this year, man.
How did he keep it going?
Well, I think one of the main routes for him, apart from vigorous check-in, they built this UFC fight island in Abu Dhabi. So it's like an island just in Abu Dhabi, in conjunction with the W Hotel. So they had this kind of like a whole facility for fighters and events, which was like highly monitored. Everything is like, super vigorous check-in. And through that, they were able to continue having events. Now I think there was a ton of money that went into it, but
Of course.
there's a ton of money that's come out of it. Pay-per-view events still going on. You had big, massive fights. I don't know if anyone listening to this is interested in MMA, but I mean, you had huge fights. You had like Masvidal versus Usman. You had Israel Stylebender Adesanya. He turned up twice this year. So it's like you got superstars gaining even more traction because there are no other sports on. And
Yeah.
I thought that was great, man. It increased the amount of UFC viewing that I get to do. UFC is on every week. I'm over the moon about that. It's great, and actually, I think the resilience that Dana White and the UFC showed throughout this COVID is kind of something that I would hope to just kind of get adopted all around the world in kind of every facet. It's like, all right, there's a way to do this. Do you know what I mean? Like, check your fighters or check your people, let's say, do the tests, and those that aren't clear to continue, then they go off into their quarantine, but everyone else just continues like normal. And I think there's something to be said in going forward with COVID that at some point that has to happen. That has to happen.
I think that's I think that it shows, because UFC is quite a smaller sport in comparison to football, in comparison to NBA. It's getting bigger, it's getting more popular, but just for the sheer fact that this guy Dana White can kind of do that on his own back and not really have too many people to answer to per se. I mean, if football has this association, football association, and it's arguably bureaucratic, and it's got to go through the process. So for them to get started again takes a while. It needs to go through multiple layers. But because UFC doesn't really have those layers and it's small, he was able to kind of just react and adapt to the situation, to the environment. I think NBA eventually made bubbles in, what was it, Disney World? I don't know, or Universal Studios, something like that. But again, that took them a while to kind of get to that point of being comfortable enough to do that, because even the competitors who are playing, some of them don't even want to risk themselves or their families, and so and also I think there are some UFC fighters that kind of refused to fight at the beginning, or they was very skeptical.
Yeah, they were, for sure. And since then, there's been a ton of UFC fighters that have, been diagnosed with COVID and not been able to fight.
Right.
But I think again, it comes down to rigorous testing. Like the more kind of points where testing can occur, that's probably the best for society. Society and sports in all facets. So I am definitely protesting in terms of COVID. Like testing should be something that's exercised wherever it can be.
Oh, I thought you were protesting.
No,
are you protesting or protesting?
I've never protested in my life, bro.
Stand up for your rights. Black Lives Matter.
I mean, do they?
Right.
I'm joking.
Okay. Okay. I'm not even going to cut that out.
Of course they do. But yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is, like, I think testing is a good thing. We already covered the vaccine, which we won't go back into. But I think in order to say goodbye to COVID, or at least live with COVID in a kind of more sustainable way than we are currently, we should see testing kind of rolled out across the board.
Always be testing, ABT. But also, speaking of sports, another big event, and we'll talk about 2020 here in summary, in a way. Another big event that happened in sports was Kobe Bryant, unfortunately passing away. So that was like for those, I mean, I guess most people would know, right? But helicopter crash, massively unfortunate, went down, and along with her his daughter as well, which kind of shattered the world, and all that was going on around that time was just everyone was just a bit shocked, very shocked,
Yeah.
and appreciative of his legacy and what he kind of achieved and left, and the great guy he was. And I wasn't that much of a follower of him, but definitely upon reflection and the snippets that I saw, he was just definitely like a beam of light
Yeah.
that shined upon the world. And yeah, he's he's still got some girls. I don't know how many, 2-3 more girls, but
Sure.
yeah, it's unfortunate.
It is. And this guy, even if he didn't follow NBA, Kobe Bryant is a household name. He's a legend, and
Mm, mm,
sometimes you hear news through social media before you hear it on the mainstream. And when the news broke that Kobe Bryant had passed away, you get those kind of sharp pains. You're like, nah, that no way. And you start to do the fact checking, and this actually everyone on the internet, and you're like, no, this guy he was too young, and then you find out more details, and you're like, oh wow, the little girl was there. So yeah, I mean, damn, that was a big blow to. I'll go as far as to say our species. You got some
mm.
really kind of unique, like prime examples of like the pinnacle,
Gone too soon.
but no, the pinnacle of humanity. Like people that are driven, people that actually have given so much to the world. And like to see someone like Kobe go so soon, that was a shame. That one really did
Mm,
sting. And that's
mm, mm,
regardless. I'm not an avid basketball follower at all, but
mm.
I recognize a legend when they're there, and I that was a big blow into 2020. Yeah, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think another one that I had was of 2020, which was definitely notable, remarkable. It was the Black Lives Matter movement, and it's funny, like all of this has happened this year.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Like when you look back, it's just like, wow, a lot has happened.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the whole Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, the street rallies, statues being toppled, defaced. It's that movement was strong, and there's a lot of resistance against it, and it's just, yeah, I don't think it's going to be the end. It's
No, it's not the end. This is a battle that's been going on for a long time. But I think with the Black Lives Matter movement, I think you've begun to see some light in some like real reform around the world.
mm,
And for that reason, I'm grateful for Black Lives Matter, despite what I said before.
mm,
um, it's definitely showed some kind of like worldwide solidarity over something that is so unjust. It all kind of
yeah,
spurred from police brutality in the States,
yeah,
and anyone with two eyes can see that this is so wrong.
yeah,
And I think, at least for a moment, the world was united over that. It didn't really
mm,
matter what
mm,
color you were. It was clear that
yeah,
there was an injustice here, and there had to be something done about it. I mean, crazily enough, in the States, while that was happening, the COVID thing broke, and then there was some riots going on. So, like the States, a lot was going on at the same time. So,
yeah,
so, so it could be argued that some elements of the Black Lives Matter movement was lost in the fog, but
mm,
actually the existence of Black Lives Matter, that is, I think that's the step in the right direction for sure.
mm, mm. Especially, it's just like there's these counter arguments to all lives matter and all this kind of stuff, but effectively, it's just because it's highlighting the various different discrete and tragic events that have happened against which seems to be a black person, right? So, you know, it's not what it seems to be, it is a black person, right? So, and it's happened multiple times. So, and especially when you have social media, you have actually these things being filmed and cameraed and then distributed across the world. You know, as you say, people know right from wrong. Doesn't matter what your race is, and the fact that these things are happening and they're being caught on camera just can, it reverberates around the world, and then you will get these movements. And it was very big. It was a huge wave. Is I think hopefully there'll be more reform on this basis, and justice will be served. But again, 2020, it's just happened all in this year.
Yeah. I mean, and another thing that's happened this year was, and this was due to restrictions, was travel limitations. You know, like I think we've got to a point in, you know, in life where we're so used to taking a holiday. You know, especially, you know, at this age, you know, I'm early 30s. I can afford one holiday a year at least. You know, it's, you know, whether it might be down to Margate,
Island,
it might be to Margate, but
Brighton.
yeah, but you know, to have that removed is definitely been something that we've started to see an effect of.
Yeah.
So, what I was lucky enough to do this year was explore a little bit more of the UK, because you know, being grounded, you know, meant that, you know, if we want to go anywhere, you got to kind of go somewhere that you can get to in a car. And you know, I went down to Brighton, as you just mentioned. Brighton's a bad man place. Don't ever diss. Um,
Oh, I'm dissing. I was just, it's just like you said, Margate, but I was like, t- more at Market is Brighton, I'd say, arguably. Well, I don't
well,
know. No offense to those who live in Margate.
or Brighton. But yeah, I took a trip to Brighton. I think
Lucky you.
I think one evening, I think on a job, I took a trip to Cambridge, and then I just spent a few hours just walking around in the park. I sat by the river, and just took some time to reflect. And yeah, man, I mean, the UK's got a ton of good places to offer. And I think this year, quite a few people have decided that actually, you know, given that, you know, getting on a plane cause, you know, there's some issues getting on a plane currently, um, it's it's worth exploring the country you live in. And, you know, a lot of the time we don't get time to do that. And I think this year people have had time. So yeah, that
Yeah.
was one of the things that happened for me, at least this year.
Yeah. I think just kind of as a spin off on this COVID theme is like people have, during that time of lockdown, I think it was notably April to perhaps June, July, life seemed to have slowed down.
Mm,
So it wasn't the busy rat race as such, because people were working from home. You have an extra 3 hours to yourself. Business was shut down, so those business owners were at home, forced to be at home, and so life shut down. Life slowed down a lot, and people were actually talking to neighbors. I mean, I was talking to my neighbors a lot more
yeah.
because I just had more time to talk and speak, and we have this whole, and our neighbors, we all had this common thing of, this is crazy. Like,
Mm,
I mean, let's talk about it. So that was one good thing that came out of this a bit, you know, like the slowing down, because I feel like, especially living in a busy city like London, you know, you just get caught up in this flow of this fast pace of life.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's definitely one good thing that's kind of spun out of this. And also, I guess, like, you know, like now more people are prone to use card instead of cash out of all of this. So people don't really want to touch cash,
Mm-hmm.
because who knows, you could be passing stuff on. So, you know, these kind of, this year has been quite transformational in terms of how we're going to be living, or how people are going to live or see life in the next five or foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Even schools, right?
Yeah.
Like, my little one, you know, she knows about COVID. Um, you know, in schools, she's told to wash her hands. And when they first returned to school, it's like there were bubbles and there was these restrictions in place that I weren't too sure about. I was thinking, well, you know, how's this going to affect her in the future? Like, is she going to think that this is the new normal? Is it going to be a bit too restrictive? I mean, at the beginning it's fine, but now it seems to be a bit more looser now. Like everyone kind of can, everyone's a bit more comfortable as to what the risks are. Before it was like the unknown. But yeah, it's again, this COVID-19 has brought many gifts.
Yeah. I'd like to kind of echo that in the sense that, you know, this year I found, you know, unsuspecting friends, you know. Our bromance has blossomed this year, you know.
That's what you say.
I thought this was a two-way thing, bro.
You can't say it's blossom on there. I mean, I can't. At least check with me first, because I can't agree to that.
Bro, aren't you emotionally like happy with where you're at?
You asked me to send you a nude earlier. I mean,
Hey.
bro. That weren't predictive text. I don't know what.
Let me explain. Some Kevin Hart. Let me explain. I just thought it would be bad because I was like, send me the link to get into Squadcast. But then I said to myself, how about I just say send nudes? And then I say, oh, send nudes. I mean, send me the link. And anyway, anywho, yeah, like friends in unsuspecting places. You know, I've been lucky enough to spend some time with people that, you know, I live with, and, you know, people that are around, and, you know, been really blessed to, like you say, even talking to my neighbors, you know, kind of then embarking on a deeper relationship with somebody that you'd probably just not really have the time for on a day-to-day basis, you know, like, so that has been a good thing. And actually the interactions with people, they've definitely, at least in the probably like you mentioned, April to July times, was really genuine. You know, you really, you know, wanted to know how their family was, and you really wanted to know, you know, how they were doing. And it definitely feels as if it's coming from this kind of place of love and genuine care for another human, you know. And so there was this kind of like camaraderie and togetherness that I felt that I had, at least with people in my circle. So yeah, like you said, I mean, COVID has brought some terrible things for sure. And 2020, there have been some events that, you know, we would want to move on from, but there's been so many great things to happen in 2020 in terms of relationships and, you know, opportunities, business wise. You know, we've definitely seen some activity on the stock market and crypto. You know, we've seen things happen this year that have, you know, not really happened in previous years. So, you know, 2020, it's really easy to look at it as a, you know, one of these like terrible years where everything stopped. But if you open your eyes a little bit wider, it could also be the year where everything begun as well. So, you know, it is really a pivotal year, like you kind of mentioned before. It was, I should say, a pivotal year, and going into 2021, you know, we kind of all got a chance to kind of start with a clean slate, you know, versus maybe other years, you know. So it's yeah. I mean,
Definitely.
yeah, for sure.
I think you know, we kind of need to naturally learn how to adapt, and I think we do, but this has forced us to. So whether you have your own business, or even in your own life, or businesses themselves, how they operate, you just had to adapt to a new way of doing things, a new way of living, and I guess that shows the resilience of us. That's kind of why we're here, and, you know, we kind of, as a species, we've excelled from, you know, whatever you think, caveman days, right? So it's great, and I think 2021 will bring more opportunities. I think wherever there's crises, there's opportunities. Wherever there's adversity, there's opportunities. So I think that's something to watch out for those that are like who are curious and want to take hold of those opportunities.
And look, for even those that, it might have been tougher on this year and I find it difficult to see the good, like just kind of remember that, you made it out of this year, if you've got a roof over your head, if you've got food in the fridge, then you've got the opportunity to kind of, try again, and I think it's worth understanding the value in that. So yeah, I mean, to everyone, we all got it. We all got through. If you're listening to this, then you got through 2020, and and we're here, and we started this podcast, in the last month of 2020, and I think, we'll discuss this on, one of the other parts of this kind of bonus series, but I think going forward, we can definitely choose to have a positive outlook on 2021 and kind of look at the opportunities that have kind of been presenting themselves over the course of 2020, but now we can, make some time to capitalize on them through 2021. And yeah, man, I'm excited, man. It's a new year. It's a new time. I feel like there's a clean slate. I feel that, in certain sectors, things are very active, very, the pot is bubbling nicely. So yeah, going forward is looking bright.
The future's bright. The future's
I
orange.
don't say it again. You said that last time.
I'm gonna keep on saying it until I get a letter from my door.
Until we get demonetized. We're not even monetized yet.
Don't worry. Orange. Will reach out to us. Don't worry.
Orange is EE.
Are they still going?
I think they're EE now, right? Like, I don't know.
Oh, so they can't even claim to that then.
I don't know, man. I don't know how IP works with all of that. It could be, I don't know. Maybe they can. God knows.
It's mine now. It's mine. My IP.
I'm not part of this. I'm not part of this. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
All right.
So yeah. I mean, thanks again for listening. And this is part 1 of 4 of this great outlook to 2021 and how to make this year better than the last. So if you have not listened to any of our other episodes, you can find us on Spotify and Apple. Just search Kaleidospoke. And yeah, follow us on all of the socials, Instagram, Twitter, we're there. Clubhouse, if I can say, you might find us there very shortly. And yeah, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.